Chapter 5. The Ban. Deuteronomy chapter 2, verses 16 to 37. So it came to pass, when all the men of war were consumed and dead from among the people, that the Lord spake unto me, saying, Thou art to pass over through Ar, the coast of Moab, this day. And when thou comest nigh over against the children of Ammon, distress them not, nor meddle with them, for I will not give thee of the land of the children of Ammon any possession, because I have given it unto the children of Lot for a possession. That also was accounted a land of giants. Giants dwelt therein in old time, and the Ammonites called them Zamzummims, a people great and many, and tall as the Anakims. But the Lord destroyed them before them, and they succeeded them, and dwelt in their stead. As he did to the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, when he destroyed the Horims from before them, and they succeeded them, and dwelt in their stead, even unto this day. And the Avims which dwelt in Hazarim, even unto Azah, the Caphtarims which came forth out of Caphtor, destroyed them, and dwelt in their stead. Rise ye up, take your journey, and pass over the river Arnon. Behold, I have given into thine hand Sihon the Amorite, king of Heshbon, and his land. Begin to possess it, and contend with him in battle. This day will I begin to put the dread of thee and the fear of thee upon the nations that are under the whole heaven, who shall hear report of thee, and shall tremble, and be in anguish because of thee. And I sent messengers out of the wilderness of Kedemoth unto Sihon king of Heshbon, with words of peace, saying, Let me pass through thy land. I will go along by the highway. I will neither turn unto the right hand nor to the left. Thou shalt sell me meat for money, that I may eat, and give me water for money, that I may drink. Only I will pass through on my feet. As the children of Esau which dwell in Seir, and the Moabites which dwell in Ar did unto me, until I shall pass over Jordan into the land which the Lord our God giveth us. But Sihon king of Heshbon would not let us pass by him, for the Lord thy God hardened his spirit, and made his heart obstinate, that he might deliver him into thy hand, as appeareth this day. And the Lord said unto me, Behold, I have begun to give Sihon and his land before thee. Begin to possess, that thou mayest inherit his land. Then Sihon came out against us, he and all his people, to fight at Jahaz. And the Lord our God delivered him before us, and we smote him and his sons and all his people. And we took all his cities at that time, and utterly destroyed the men and the women and the little ones of every city. We left none to remain. Only the cattle we took for a prey unto ourselves, and the spoil of the cities which we took. From Aroer, which is by the brink of the river of Arnon, and from the city that is by the river, even unto Gilead, there was not one city too strong for us. The Lord our God delivered all unto us. Only unto the lands of the children of Ammon thou camest not, nor unto any place of the river Jabbok, nor unto the cities in the mountains, nor unto whatsoever the Lord our God forbade us. Deuteronomy chapter 2, verses 16 to 37. Our text now deals with the encounters of Israel with several nations. These conflicts are detailed in Numbers and are now cited as a part of the covenant. That is, as items in a treaty or contract which require the response of faithfulness. The states mentioned are the Ammonites, the Amorites, which means Westerners, and, in chapter 3, the Bashanites. Ammon, also descended from Lot, was not to be attacked. We have two ethnological notes, the references to the Zamzummim and to the Avims. The Zamzummims are in Genesis 14:5 called the Zuzims, and they were another very tall people. It is a curious fact of the various peoples of great height. Only the Watusis of Africa have survived into the 20th century, and they may not outlive it long, according to some. Size and survival and size and ability are not to be equated. The Avims lived in southwestern Palestine, as far as Gaza, and were destroyed by the Captorims, probably the Cretans or Philistines, verse 23. The reference to Ar is beyond our present state of knowledge, verse 9. Arur, verse 36, is mentioned on the Moabite stone, as is Jahoz, verse 32. This text is regarded as infamous and shocking by many because of verse 34, the ban. The biblical ban is emphatically not the province of men and nations, but only of God. God can, in his sovereign knowledge and wisdom, devote entire peoples to destruction when their sins and rebellion render them totally derelict. God's bans take effect in various ways. First, it can come by natural disasters. In Genesis, we have 3 examples of this, if not 4. We have the flood, Genesis chapter 7:1 to chapter 8:14, whereby all save Noah and his family were destroyed. The worldwide evidence for the flood is clear to all but the willful. Next, there is the confusion of tongues and the scattering of the peoples in the Tower of Babel episode, Genesis chapter 11, verses 1 to 9. Then there is the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, Genesis chapter 19, verses 1 to 25. Finally, there is the great famine referred to in Genesis chapter 41, verses 53 to 57. These were all bans which, however supernatural in origin, were also accomplished through natural forces. Such bans can be seen throughout history and in our own time. They include not only judgment by weather, but also by diseases. Plagues and epidemics usually precede the collapse of a civilization. We should see such things as God's interdicts at work. Second, God's bans can sometimes be publicly proclaimed in advance by his orders. Those cited in Genesis were not so public, except for Noah and his preaching in the form of building an ark. Prophets such as Isaiah and Jeremiah, however, openly declared God's judgment on the nations. The same was true of Ezekiel, as in Ezekiel chapter 21, verses 26 and 27, where God declares that he will overturn all things to prepare for the coming of the Messiah, to whom the right to govern and possess belongs. The nations are used to effect the interdict or ban of God, but the cause behind the events is of God. Third, God's law is a form of interdict or ban. For example, the death penalty for certain crimes is required, and if nations set aside God's ban, then they fall under God's ban. In such instances, that is, crimes of people, the ban is personal and specific, not general. Heedlessness, where specific bans and interdicts are required, leads to God's general ban, to the destruction of a country or a civilization. It should be apparent by now that all law and all warfare is a form of banning, and the bans of men and nations are usually evil and ungodly. The ungodly state reserves the right to ban, but denies it to God. Scripture makes it clear that the person or community which forsakes the Lord for false worship is an abomination to him and under his ban. Exodus chapter 32, verse 19, Deuteronomy 7, verses 25 and 26, chapter 13, verses 13 to 18, Joshua 7, verses 24 and 25. That is, Achan and his family. 7 Canaanite nations were prescribed by God: the Hittites, Girgashites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. Deuteronomy 7, 1-2, 20:17. Jericho was placed under a ban. Joshua 6, verse 17 following. Amalek was also banned, 1 Samuel chapter 15, verses 1 to 5, 1 Chronicle chapter 10, verse 13. The ban was a radical form of excommunication. The banned nations cited by Moses were not only faithless, but militantly hostile to God and his law order. Their temple rituals included and/or required a variety of perversions as a part of worship. The Canaanites reserved the term Holy One for cult prostitutes, and both male and female prostitutes were a part of sanctuaries, as were animals as well. God's ban on the Canaanites is grounded in part on all the sexual transgressions listed in Leviticus chapter 18, verses 1 to 30, compare verses 26 to 28. These things defile the people, and defilement means death. The main biblical word translated from the Hebrew as defile is tameh, which means to be contaminated or foul, and totally so. The peoples of Canaan had defiled themselves. They had reversed all moral standards to call good evil and evil good. We come now forth to the kind of ban God required against Canaan. Here, God required Israel to execute the ban. No non-biblical example of such a ban by God exists, nor is it a law, but rather a revealed command. There are variations in this type of biblical ban. A total destruction of all persons and property, Deuteronomy chapter 20, verses 16 to 18, 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 3. B, a total destruction of all persons, but not property, Deuteronomy chapter 2, verses 34 and 35, chapter 3, verses 6 and 7, and C, the destruction of all males only, Deuteronomy chapter 20, verses 10 to 15. This type of ban no longer exists. The other types, God's bans operating through, quote, natural, end quote, and historical events, are very much with us, and men and nations need to be aware of this. As God decrees his bans in history, he does so as the only Lord and Sovereign over all nations. It is his justice and judgment at work. We are told that God is love, 1 John chapter 4, verses 8 and 16. But we are also told, the Lord is a man of war, the Lord is his name, Exodus chapter 15, verse 3. The goal of his warfare, judgments and bans is to destroy the enemies of God and to cause wars to cease unto the ends of the earth. Psalm 46, verses 8 and 9. Calvin observed on Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 24, from whence again it appears how poor is the sophistry of those who imagine that God idly regards from heaven what men are about to do. They dare not, indeed, despoil him of foreknowledge, but what can be more absurd than that he foreknows nothing except what men please? But Scripture, as we see, has not placed God in a watchtower from which he may behold at a distance what things are about to be, but teaches that he is the director, moderatorum, of all things and designs and affections of men also. We should note also, as Calvin did in his Sermons on Deuteronomy, 1583, preached in 1555 to 1556, that God, in verses 5 and 6, forbids any meddling in the affairs of Edom, for example, and requires them to buy their food and even their water. There was to be a careful regard for the possessions of these peoples. Only where God's ban applied was there a difference. God still is patient with Edom and Ammon, verses 5 and 19. God's purposes are not limited to his chosen people, neither with respect to his blessings nor his judgments. In verse 25, God promises, This day will I begin to put the dread of thee and the fear of thee upon the nations that are under the whole heaven, who shall hear report of thee, and shall tremble, and be in anguish because of thee. The marginal note on this in the Geneva Bible reads, This declareth that the hearts of men are in God's hands, either to be made faint or bold. Men can neither understand the Bible nor history when they approach either of them with the presuppositions of the modern mind. We must remember that a barbarian is a rootless man who has no regard for the past nor the future, and who, like an existentialist, lives for the moment. We can add that our modern existentialist temperament has created history's deadliest barbarians. These new barbarians feel free to judge God and man, to overturn all morality and order, and to demonstrate or riot in the streets if their will is not done. Such a culture soon places itself under God's ban. We have a great task ahead of us.